Hey guys. So, how many times have you heard me say in a video that swatches are no indication of how an eyeshadow is going to apply on your face or on your eyes? That is because of the way I was doing swatches. And, I might be guilty of this, but there are a lot of other people on YouTube that are guilty as well. I was thinking about this the other day. And I thought, well, it's no wonder the swatches don't give you an accurate representation because, number one, we don't normally use our fingers to apply eyeshadows. And what I'm talking about is when I would do swatches, I would take my finger and circle it in the eyeshadow and then go like that. And sometimes, I would do a bunch at a time. I don't normally use my fingers to apply eyeshadow. There are exceptions. The L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows, the ColourPop Super Shock shadows, or any cream eyeshadow like a Maybelline Color Tattoo or a Revlon cream eyeshadow, anything like that, I do use my fingers because that's the way that they apply it the best. But normally with a powder eyeshadow, that is a strictly standard powder eyeshadow, I normally use brushes. And so I thought I should be doing my swatches with brushes. And also the other thing is when you apply eyeshadows to your eyes, you have a primer on. I think 99% of the people out there now know that your eyeshadow goes on better with an eyeshadow primer and stays looking good all day if you have a primer on. So why don't we put primer on our skin before we put the eyeshadow on for the swatch? Okay, so I'm gonna make those two changes. From now on, when I have swatches or when I'm swatching eyeshadows, I'm doing it over primer and I'm doing it with a brush. So I did a little experimenting and sure enough, I saw a huge difference in the way the eyeshadow applied if I did it on bare skin versus primer or finger versus brush. So I thought, okay, that's all fine and good, but what if I'm swatching a palette or several eyeshadows? All my brushes are not identical. Okay, so I would have to use a clean brush every time or for each eyeshadow because you can't dip it in one eyeshadow and then take the same brush and dip it in another one. So I thought, well, they have those brush cleaner things where you can brush your brush on it and it's supposed to clean it immediately, but I don't feel like that's really the best thing to use because it could still have some residue on there and affect the color of the next thing that you put it in. So I didn't want to buy one of those. So I thought, well, I can use multiple brushes, but honestly, all brushes swatch and perform differently from brand to brand, from type to type. So the only way that I could see this working out the way I wanted to was to have a whole bunch of the same brush. Now, I can't afford to go out and buy a bunch of high-end brushes that are all the same, but I can do it if the price point is right. So this is the eyeshadow brush that I just used to do my eyeshadow today. This is the Wet n Wild large eyeshadow brush. So I went to the store yesterday and I bought a bunch of them because they were only $1. And so I thought, okay, let's do that. That way, I can use a separate brush for each eyeshadow if I'm doing a palette or if I'm doing a bunch of single eyeshadows. So I already had one, I bought 9 more. And I came home and I thought, well, that was stupid. Most palettes have, not all, but most palettes have 15 eyeshadows in them. So why did I think 10 was going to be enough? So I'm going to try to go back today and get 5 more. But I almost cleaned out the store that I was at. I think there was only 2 or 3 left on the shelf, so I may have to go to more than one store to get 5 more brushes, but I think this is the best way to go because if you've never used these brushes by Wet n Wild, they are excellent, especially for $1. You can get e.l.f. brushes for $1, but honestly, I don't really like their $1 line. Don't get me wrong, I love e.l.f. brushes, but just not their $1 line. I like the ones that are the $3 line and up because they have all different ones, but the $1 ones are not very good at all. But yeah, these are the cheapest brushes you can buy that perform beautifully, and they wash and clean so well, and they're so pretty. They, you know, that aesthetically, the white color is pretty. It's got a place, a little divot in the brush where you can put your finger. And yeah, even though the bristles are white and pink, I have had no problems cleaning them. They, you know, I can get every bit of eye makeup off of them and there's no problem. So I thought, okay, you know, for $1 a piece, let's do that then. So I bought 9 and realized that 10 wasn't going to be enough. And of course there are palettes that have more than 15 eyeshadows in them, but I don't think I really want any more palettes that are that big because I have 5 really large palettes right now, and that's good. I don't really want any more of the big jumbo palettes because storage-wise, it's kind of difficult, and I just don't need that many eyeshadows. I have my 2 Coastal Scents palettes. One is matte, one is shimmer that have like every color in the world in them. Then I have the Morphe 350 palette that has all the neutrals. Then I have the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, which is mostly neutrals and a few pops of color. And then I have the Sephora Pro Editorial palette, which is mostly bright colors, but there are some other things in there too. That's enough with the big giant palettes. I really don't need any more. So I think that, you know, going forward, I would like to stick to palettes that are 15 or less. So now I will be able to do accurate swatches for you. Now I'm going to do a demo to show you what a huge difference it makes for what I'm talking about. So I picked this eyeshadow on purpose because I feel like this will illustrate my point really well. This is a single eyeshadow by Milani. It's called Bella Sky. The only place where you can still get these eyeshadows is on the Milani website, but they don't even have all the colors anymore on their website. So they're like in the process of being discontinued. I've even seen them at Dollar Tree. If you see them at Dollar Tree, pick them up because some of them are really excellent. Some of them not so much. This is one of the ones that doesn't perform as well as the others, but that's why I chose this, because this is going to illustrate my point better than anything else could. So this is Bella Sky. It's just a light blue eyeshadow, and the finish on it is shimmer. So normally, before, when I was swatching things, I would just take my finger, swirl it in the eyeshadow, and show it to you like this, or sometimes I would swatch it on my skin. So that's what it looks like swatched on my skin. You know, it's a very, very light shade, but we don't swatch things that way. I mean, we don't apply things that way. You know, I use eyeshadow primer, and most of you do too. So I'm just gonna grab an eyeshadow primer in front of me here. Let's see. Actually, I decided to use this because this is what is on my eyes today. This is LA Colors eyeshadow primer. You know what? The lighting is going a little crazy. Let me just adjust that. Much better. Okay, this is what is on my eyes today. This is the LA Colors eyeshadow primer. This is my favorite drugstore type eyeshadow primer, and I would love to get a backup of this so bad because it's so good and so inexpensive, but I can't find it anywhere. It's sold at Family Dollar, but it's only sold at select Family Dollars. And you can't order it from the LA Colors website, so I don't know. I bought this when I was out of town one day, and I don't, so it's not close to me. I've checked all the Family Dollars in my surrounding area, and they don't have it. Okay, so I'm just going to put some of this on my arm right near that swatch that I just did. And then we're going to take one of these brand new brushes that I've got from Wet n Wild. So it's the large eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to pick some up the way I normally would. Just swirl my brush in there. And now I'm going to apply it right over that primer. It doesn't really look that different. Well, I guess it's a little bit deeper in color. Yeah, it is. So that's the swatch right there, and then that's the one with my finger. Now, the thing is, if I take another brush, okay, another one of these clean brushes, and then pick up some eyeshadow and swatch it next to that. No, actually, let's do it on the other side. So this is the one with my finger. This is the one with the brush on the primer. Now let's do it with a brush with no primer. Okay, that's what really makes the difference, okay? You can't even see it. So I guess my point is eyeshadows will go on pretty good if you're using your fingers, but who uses their fingers to apply powder eyeshadows? It goes on better with a primer and a brush, but with no primer, with a brush, doesn't go on well at all. Yeah, you almost can't even see that swatch. It looks like I have two swatches on my arm. You can't even see. The third swatch is barely discernible. So that's what I want to do going forward. I definitely want to do swatches on primer with a brush, and I think it will give you so much more of an accurate representation going forward. So that is it. I wanted to let you know about this because when I do this in the future, I don't want to go into a big long explanation that's going to take time away from the video. So what I'll do is I'll just make reference to this video so that anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about or isn't familiar with my new way of doing it will understand what's going on and why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. So that is it for today, you guys. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button and let me know. Do you think this is a good idea? I think it's been a long time coming. I don't know why it never occurred to me before this to do it this way, but I will see you in the next video. Bye. Thanks for watching.